Hello loves, welcome back to TigeraGitana. Today we are going to be doing the patron voted channel members voted video, which is on how to build a relationship with spirit. This could be for your ancestors, this could be for your spirit guides, this could be for your angels, this could be for your deities, this could be from whomever you wish to work with, okay? How to build a relationship with them, because I do think that that's one of the things that areas where people have a lot of question marks about, but it tends to really be very, you know, to the point. Once you kind of break it down, once you understand what you're doing and feel comfortable with what you're doing, it tends to be very straightforward, you know, once you kind of have the vision of it in your head. So how to build your relationship with spirit. So the thing about building your relationship with spirit that I want y'all to understand is within the question, there is an answer, okay? Relationship, okay? Keyword is relationship here, okay? In your day-to-day life, how do you build a relationship with your friends, with new people that you just met, with people that you just you know, bumped into, that you keep bumping into, with your family members, with different, when you just meet new people, what that you're vibing or jiving with? How do you build a relationship with them, right? You ask questions, you get to know them. You know, this is a form of Scorpio interrogation that kind of happens. That is actively very, very important part of, you know, understanding and getting to know people. So how do you ask the right questions when it comes to working with spirit? I feel like when it comes to working with spirit, especially when you're working, if you're applying it to a deity, god, goddess, Orisha, like just, you know, on that like divine kind of area, obviously you're going to want to do your research. That's pretty much one of the big areas where you're going to want to make sure that you are applying your focus to. You're going to want to make sure that you did your research on that specific, you know, god, goddess, Orisha's spirit, okay? So that way you better understand how to work with them. Why? Because other people already have had a relationship with that spirit, okay? And so they can better help you understand how to appease and work with and build on top of your relationship with that person. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like you, like your friend is friends with the person you are trying to be friends with, and your friend is like, lets you know, hey, so they really love to talk about the movies. They really love, you know, to talk about, you know, different things. They love to talk about like astrology. They love to talk about marine life. That's just something that they love to talk about. And they also love beer. They love beer. They love to drink. So when you have already that amount of information, right, then you're able to be like, okay, well, I understand what kind of, how, you know, what topics that we can dive into, what I can ask you about. And from there, you can move into like having deeper conversations just from knowing, you know, a little bit of a thing, right? And I think that it's really, really important to understand that, you know, understanding how other practitioners have already understood certain spirits. And I know that there's different paths to different spirits as well. There are some spirits that have different versions of themselves as well. So it can become a little bit of a conundrum trying to kind of work out specifically how some of these beings want to be treated or addressed. But it really goes into building a relationship, asking questions, asking how they want to be treated, what they would like to have as offerings, what they would like to, you know, what colors that they gravitate to. Well, it's literally like building a relationship. What's your favorite color? What time of day do you like working on, or what time of day do you want me to contact you the most? Do you like your offerings to be every day or every week, or, you know, on a specific day? Which moons do you like do you want me to work with you on? Do you like your rituals to be done outside? Because there are some spirits that like to have their rituals are like to be done outside, not inside. And so do you like your rituals to be done outside? Do you like offerings in a specific way? Is there any type of vegetables, fruits, or anything that is specifically associated with you? You need to go into an interrogation kind of mindset where you're having a conversation, but you're also getting information in the process. So that way you're not getting lost in the sauce, okay? Now, when it comes to your ancestors, this one is a little bit I guess, cooler to do because you're not necessarily referencing to other people unless it's in your family bloodline, obviously. But if the information has not been really passed down where you're looking at an ancestor that was from like 8 generations ago and you just don't know of them, right? You have to do that interrogation process through meditation and through asking them specifically for guidance. So when you're doing your ancestor meditations and you're saying, hey, so I don't know, Brenda, okay, let's say one of my ancestors' name is Brenda, okay? Hey Brenda, so thank you for telling me what your name is. Can you tell me more about yourself? How was your life when you were alive? How was your life when you were here? Is there anything that you prefer or anything that you would like to see in your altar sometimes? Is there any way that I can, you know, honor, you know, your presence within my ancestors, within, you know, the altar space? Is there anything that you want me to do or add to there? At what age did you pass? Is there any trauma that you need to, like, that you want me to focus on healing? Did anything originate with you that has been passed down through the family bloodline? All of these questions I'm saying, by the way, y'all should be writing them down. That's all I'm gonna say. The best way that I can recommend to really solidify your studies within your ancestors and even with spirit and building your relationship with spirit is to keep a journal, okay? Bonus points in the comments if you know where this journal is from, okay? Bonus points. This is like one of my absolute favorite shows. That's the only clue that you're gonna get. But bonus points if you know where this journal is from. But so keeping a journal for your ancestors is super important, and I'm going to tell you why. And this is not something that's necessarily generally talked about or done. But keeping a journal is important because you're able to document different ancestors, their personality. It helps them be remembered, but at the same time, you're also able to pinpoint which ancestors are good with what, where the trauma originated, what was healed, what was not. So you can literally, write a whole page after each meditation that you do if you're calling on trying to get to know a specific ancestor every single time. You can go ahead, write, you know, okay, you're doing the meditation, you're like, hey, I would like to speak to my great grandma, okay? And so you call on her and you're like, okay, so what was your name? Boom. This grandmother I had, and and this is how long she lived, and this is what she was really good at in her life, and this is what she's helping me with. This is how she guides me. This is what practices that she used to do within her lifetime. When you're able to kind of write down and jot all that stuff down and say, okay, did we focus on any trauma healing? Did they have anything that they wanted me to focus on for generational trauma healing? You can go ahead and write, hey, I worked with this ancestor and we focused on healing this today, and this was healed. So you know what ends up happening when you fill the pages and you already have like a whole entire book full of your ancestor work that you have done. You're able to then pass this down to your nieces, your nephews, the future of your bloodline. You're able to pass this book down and say, here, this is the work that I did. These are really cool ancestors to work with. They're very involved in the bloodline. They love to help in this and this and this way. These are traumas that were already healed, and here's some that you might need to focus on down the line. This is what some of these ancestors like to eat, offering wise, and this is some of the best days to work with them, or X, Y, and Z. Like, you can literally hand that down, that information, be like, hey, here you go. Which is a very powerful thing to do when you're doing bloodline work and you're handing off the, you know, the baton to the next generation down the line once we all, you know, transition. So I think it's very, very important to really hold like a little bit of a diary of your relationship with spirit, especially as it grows, as it goes on, as you feel that comfortability, as you form these kinships with spirit, with your gods, with your goddesses. Really write down your experiences, what they taught you, what lessons they're bringing through, what messages they bring, what signals they give you, what animals they use to send you different messages. You want to make sure that you're actively paying attention to what happens once you initiate a relationship with spirit. And so you want to be organized. You want to make sure that you are you know, honoring them in the way that they want, but you're also getting to know them. It's kind of like, you know, when you're building a relationship with a partner, with a lover or whatever, and you have a crush on someone, you want to know their favorite color, you want to know what they love to do, you know, want to know all of these little bits and things about them, because you want to make sure that you are able to be in that space with them and have fun and still, you know, share space with them and show them that you care, that you appreciate them, and that you appreciate who they are and what they do and their personality. Okay, at the end of the day, each one of these beings have their own specific particular personality, and so for you to get to know them, you really have to put in the work. It's like building a relationship. Some relationships are going to be like, some relationships with different beings are going to be very like quick and fast and smooth. Why? Because you might have a past life connection to that specific being, and you might already feel very comfortable, like your spirit, your soul, I already feel very comfortable working with them naturally. And sometimes you have to start from the get-go and be like, hey, I would like to work with you. Let me know if you want to work with me. If you do want to work with me, that's great. I would like to get to know you. I would like to ask you a couple questions. I would like to, you know, dive in a little bit deeper who you are and how you want to not only help me within my practice, but how, you know, we're meant to work like together. Like how do I keep progressing within my practice with you being one of those beings that is in my practice as well. So it's all about being organized. It's all about building a foundation and really building that relationship. So you can, like, you know, do the whole kikiing, do the whole like situation where you're just very comfortable with working with who you work for, and it easily becomes something that is mutually beneficial, and it's just seamless. It turns into a seamless relationship where you're just like, oh, okay, thank you for that message, thank you for that, thank you for the sign. Or even within your meditations and stuff like that, they'll just pull through with downloads and different things that you need to work on, just because you have built that relationship already. It's really important to build a very equal relationship with spirit. And what I mean by equal is that I want you guys to understand that working with spirit is not, you know, one is above the other. Okay, even though yes, spirit guides, angels, deities, gods, goddesses, all this stuff, they are on, you know, a different realm. They have specific things that they do and work that they do, yes, but there is no one is beneath the other. Okay, we serve spirit. There are spirits that we serve and we worship, and, you know, we serve, but at the same time, understand that you don't have to work with anybody if you don't want to. Okay, this is not a forced kind of thing. You don't have to work with anybody if you don't want to. You can actively do your own thing, do your own spellcraft without, you know, your own practice, without having to work with anybody. If you want to work with different spirits and such, then that's something that you want to dive in and do, but you're building an equal relationship. It's not one has to beat on the other, or one is forced to do things on top of the other. Like one is kind of like a submissive and one is a dom kind of vibe, or it's just like you're being dominated or you're being controlled. Granted, there are spirits and within different religions that there is different types of ways where you know, spirit is very controlling in that way and has a larger impact in your own behavior. However, when you're working with a spirit willingly, when you're willingly going out of your way to build a relationship with spirit, you need to make sure that you have an equal, loving relationship. That means that if you don't want to do something, you don't have to. Okay, this is where I talk about spiritual consent a lot, because some of you guys think that you're forced to do certain things or have to kind of, you know, do things in a particular way, and then that's it. You can't do anything about it. It's about being respectful. Okay, spirit will respect you and you will respect spirit, but you also have to set the boundaries. Like, I get a lot of questions a lot of the time on like, oh my God, you know, my ancestors, or even, you know, whoever I work with keeps waking me up at 3 in the morning because they keep giving me a message, they keep, whatever it is. And I'm just like, but did you tell them that you like to sleep and you would prefer your messages to come later in the day? You have to set the tone, you have to consent. Okay, when you say, hey, I want to work with you, they're like, okay, you want to work with me. You didn't you don't have any, you know, set rules on how you would like to be addressed. No, okay, then I'm gonna wake you up at 3 in the morning. You have to be very specific on how you want to work with them, the boundaries and the barriers that you want to set in place as well, because it is an equal relationship. You can't just be one overpowering the other. It's more of, I respect your boundaries, you respect mine, and we work together within that space. So for me, my ancestors, my spirits, my angels, they know not to wake me up in the morning. I am not a morning person, y'all. I am not a morning person. I am a night person, okay? I am a night person. I thrive at night. Y'all can see me doing natal chart readings at 2 in the morning because I'm just a night person. I just am. And so I don't like to be woken up in the mornings. And I have specifically told them, like, hey, I love y'all. Please, please, please do not wake me up in the morning. Please give me all messages when I wake up at some point during the day where my energy is at its highest peak. For my highest and greatest good. Ashe. Like, I just keep it very, very clearly. I'm very openly about that. If I'm not comfortable waking up to be, you know, have my sleep disrupted and be in kind of that kind of mood, because I know it's just gonna mess up my energy, like my whole entire vibe. Like, I really hate being forced to wake up in the mornings. I like to wake up naturally. So I make sure Spirit knows that, and they respect my space with that. They respect my boundaries with that. They don't wake me up in the mornings. They will talk to me when I, you know, when I say, okay, cool, what did I miss? What do I need to know? What do I need to address? Blah, 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 blah. It's really important for you to set the tone for that relationship. Just as you are getting to know Spirit, just as you're reaching out, you are, you know, calling them and saying, hey, you know, I wanted to get to know you. They also need to get to know you. They also need to see who you are, what you prefer, what you like, what you want to learn. And this is when you dive into, okay, so whatever deity I'm working with. So you happen to be really good at, you know, spiritual development, or you happen to be really good with, you know, the craft and doing different things, or working with different tools, with herbs, whatever it is. I would like to do more work with my own spiritual practice. Can you please help me and guide me in that space? That's how I really would love to work with you. If you don't set the tone, you're just going to get a lot of mixed bag situations where you're going to try to figure out if they're trying to reach out or talk to you or interact with you, and you're just going to be like, is it not? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. And it turns into like a really like a mixed thing. Like, even when you're building a relationship with someone, with a friend, or even where someone you like that you're trying to get with, there's a time and place. Okay, there's a time and place. If you want to stay up talking to them to 5, 7 in the morning, then you are consenting to that. You're saying, hey, yeah, I want to keep going with this conversation, right? If you want to like see them, you're not just seeing them every single day. You still have your own space and your own time to do your own thing, and to have that separation there, to have that like boundary. And please learn to build healthy boundaries with your, you know, with your guides, your spirit guides, because they're meant to help you when, you know, when you're ready, when you're in that state of mind to do so. If you're not in the state of mind to work with them, then why do you need them like banging on your mind, banging on your door every second of the day? It's just not necessary. So 1000% be organized. Set the proper boundaries. Allow them to get to know you as you are obsessively trying to get to know them, because it can be very exciting to be like, oh, I want to know more, teach me, do all the stuff. You know what I mean? It can be really exciting to do all that, and that's cool and all, but get to know them. Set your own boundaries. Let them explain to them who you are, and set intention for who you are within that relationship. If you want to go in deeper, if you want to get and be more of on a devotional type of level when you're like worshiping and serving them, then that's the way that you would prefer to work with them, where you're wanting to be like honoring them and saying, hey, oh my God, you're so amazing. I honor you. Thank you so much for helping me with this X, Y, Z, and B. This is great. Thank you so much for existing, for being a presence in my life, all of this kind of stuff. When you're worshiping them, you can do that as well, but understand that it is an equal balance. It needs to be an equal balance relationship. As much as they are a force and a presence and a power, okay, you also have the choice to work or not work with them. And there's a lot of power in not doing something. Okay, there's a lot of power in that. There's ignorance, yes, but there's a lot of power in not choosing, like not allowing them to even come near you. To understand that your own spirit, your own soul, you have choices. You don't have to work with every spirit that walks in your space. You don't have to, especially spirits that follow you home and stuff like that. You don't have to work with all of them. You don't have to keep all of them. They don't all have to turn into spirit guides. They don't have to, you know, be in that kind of energy. But it is important for you to, you know, set the tone and do your research. That's really the most important thing. When you're building a relationship, you're getting to know someone. I can say, you know, like I can, when I'm looking at a person or a friend, I can be like, oh my God, this is how I know that this person likes to be treated. This is their favorite food. So when we hang out, I'm always like, yo, let's go eat here. Let's go do that. Why? Because I learned that about them. I build our relationship on knowledge, so I can make it comfortable for both of us to have a mutual relationship together. So it's about research. It's about documenting. Documentation is very, very important, because then you can stay consistent. Then you have a whole thing, a whole entire, like when you're passing your craft down even to your own kids, you could be like, here you go. Here is this spirit likes this, and this is how I work with them, and this is when and why, and da, 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 da. Like you can have the whole list set up on how you build a relationship. Keep that diary, hand that down so the information continues to get passed down. This is something that within the millennial generation, we're going to have to do more work on, because I do think that is really, really important for us to hand down information, pass down our craft properly, and for us to have the sources of what we're doing, who we spoke to, why. So that way, when they want to go in and do that type of work, they can go ahead and confirm, and they can go ahead and make sure that they're not working with like trickster spirits and all that stuff, because they had the information, they had the knowledge passed down already. So definitely make sure that you're keeping your own. Okay, it's super, super important. And I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if there's anything that you want to add in the comments on how you build your relationship with spirit, because I do think that more people need to really master this area, especially when they're trying to connect. So go ahead and drop some info in the comments for the rest of the folks. And thank you so much for the Patreon members and the channel members for voting for this one for this week. This was a really, really cool one to talk about. And yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and do all the things. If you would like to book a reading with me, the link will be down in the description box. If you would like to be a channel member, the join button will be down to the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.